We're live. How's it going, everybody? This is Jose Trujillo, world's greatest living artist. Bam! Coming to you from the car studio. It's the car studio where it's happening right now. I've been moving around, and it happens to be the car studio. The thing that allows me to still connect with you guys, you beautiful people. It is thanks to the car studio. Man. Here we go. So I hope everybody's doing fantastic. I hope you guys are kicking some ass, doing your thing. I don't know. I was thinking about this saying that goes, if it's out of me, it's up to me, or something like that. If it ought to be, it's up to me. Something like that. If whatever you're doing is going to work, whatever you're doing, it's going to work, it's up to you. And it's really the only way. I mean, we'd love to think that it's up to someone else. We'd love to think to leave it to someone else. But if you really wanted to make it happen, meaning your art career, your art business, it's going to come down to you. One of my mentors says, you get paid for what you know. And I disagree completely, right? But that's because I didn't understand what he was trying to say. It's like, you don't get paid for what you know, you get paid for what you accomplish. And he's like, yeah, dude, you do get paid for what you accomplish, but you get paid really, really for what you know. The more you know, the more you're able to accomplish. I'm like, wait a minute, how's that? Made me kind of think there, Nobody gets paid for what they know, they get paid for what they accomplish. It's about doing. He's like, yeah, but if you don't know something, you won't do it. I'm like, oh man. So you got me spinning there, right? You got me spinning. I guess, yeah, sure, why not? Then I thought about it. I went back to work and I, doing my things. And then it hit me, right? One day at work, it hit me. Because I was having a hard time getting to work on my stuff. I was having a hard time. I wasn't feeling it, right? I wasn't feeling it. Those days where you're like, I'm just not feeling it today. And then I realized something came to my mind, right? Could it be that I'm just creating an excuse? Could that be it? It's a level of awareness, right? You're peeling off bullshit. It's really what it is. The more you work, the more you peel off the BS. So I asked myself, could there be a chance? Could there be a chance? Could there be a possibility that I'm making up excuses to not really show up to work? To not fully show up to work. Not just half-ass show up to work. Fully show up to work. To really, no excuses. Not saying, oh man, I couldn't do this because of that. Man, it was late. Oh man, it's because I'm tired. Or I didn't wake up early. Well, okay. Then you're going to go to sleep late today. I don't know. Like, no excuses, right? And when I started realizing that, at that moment, it hit me, right? And I was like, oh, man, I started realizing all of these excuses that I come up with. I was like, oh, I see what this cat means. He said, you get paid as much as you know. And I'm like, you're talking about awareness. I didn't get to talk to him anymore, but I thought about that, about that subject. I was like, this cat's talking about awareness. The more aware you are, Gary Vaynerchuk calls it self-aware. He calls it DNA, and I don't know what other stuff he uses. But I think essentially it's pretty much that. Sort of in the lines of know thyself, right? Like to truly know you, to know not just in the core, like your spirit, and because I know that that's what really it means, but in a more superficial way also. Like audit yourself. Audit yourself, you know. You're trying to sell your artwork. Okay, cool. How many pieces will it take for you to create X amount of income? You know, are you trying to sell? Are you trying to get $1,000 a month? Right. Let's say, for the sake of the example here, you're trying to get $1,000 a month into your art business, your career. Okay, well, is that going to be selling one painting for $1,000? Is that going to be, you know, 4 paintings for $250, or 2 paintings for $500, or maybe one painting of $2,000 for 2 months, you know, payments? I don't know, right? I've done that. I still do that, right? People, I do payment installments for larger size pieces, you know. It might be a $5,000 payment for 6 months. You know, $5,000 painting, and you create installments for 6 months, or you know, whatever. Like, what is it going to take for you to create a $1,000 income a month, right? If that's your goal, let's say that's your goal. So you have to audit yourself. You have to say, okay, well, if it's going to take, I call it the art math, right? Doing the art math. If I need $1,000 coming in, what does that mean? Does that mean 10 $100 pieces, 20 $50 pieces, one $1,000 piece, 2 $500 pieces, okay, pieces of art, 4 $250 pieces? Like, what is it? Or 3 pieces for, I don't know, 300 bones, $325, something like that, $340. You know, what is it, right? So that's where the auditing comes in, and you have to start looking at your behavior. What behavior are you doing to cause that? Because it ain't gonna happen by itself. Promise you that. It ain't gonna happen by itself. There has to be a repetitive behavior, right, that is going to create that outcome. There has to be a repetitive behavior. So that's when I started thinking, oh man, yeah, of course, the more you know, the more you can earn, right? I think Warren Buffett initially had said that. I think the more you know, the more you earn. My mentor just changed that and appropriated it for himself. You know, but it's essentially the same thing. The more you know, the more you get paid. Like, you get paid for what you know. And it's not about high, like knowing something high end, right? Like skills, like, oh, like those, that's great. You get paid for your skills. Of course you do. But it's not necessarily that. It's not necessarily that. It's the stuff. It many times, guys, it's not the stuff that you do. Because many of us get stuck in that. You know, as artists, we're like, oh, okay, well, I got to do this, and that. Yeah. And that'll get me to my success. Sure, yeah. But many times it's the stuff that you don't do. It's the bullshit that we don't do to ourselves. It's the stopping, right? I don't feel like working today. My partner got upset with me. My wife and I got in an argument. You know, or my husband and I, my partner, whatever, right? The person I live with, we got in an argument, and I woke up sour today, and I don't feel like doing anything. Cool, all right, but that only happens once a week, you know. Another day in paradise, right? So it's really the stuff that you don't do. Or it's my partner's fault. It's not mine. It was the traffic. You know, I had a meeting. I didn't know it was going to take 5 hours of my day. Well, they cut it short. I couldn't because, you know, on and on and on and on. It's like, it's just excuses, right? We have all these. Human beings are excuse-making machines. We're excuse-making machines. Everything everything that we do if we haven't gotten to our success, to our whatever success is for you, right? To our goals, the filters to get there are all excuses. The filters are excuses. And we don't get tired of them. We create them on a daily basis. You know, this I believe happens because there is no commitment. There is no. We haven't created an audit, right? A personal audit. When I started learning about the personal audit, things started making sense for me. Things didn't make sense a lot. Like I was already selling my artwork, creating income from it and whatnot, but it didn't quite make sense. It was still the shit was still very abstract. Like I worked hard and, you know, I got paid. I would sell a painting here, a painting there, or a few paintings on a show. And then 2-3 weeks, I was on a high, right? Because I had made some income. And then for 1 week or 2 weeks, I was at a low, trying to get back up, finding my way back into, it was like this. It was like this, finding my way back into the studio, into my rhythm, you know, into working at this pace that was truly rewarding, not just monetarily, but spiritually, mentally. It was really rewarding, right? And it wasn't until I started understanding about auditing, personal auditing yourself. Find out about it. Google it. I don't know. I may come up with a whole video series, because I don't think it all fits in one video. I think I'm going to put out some videos. Courses or videos, something that stuff that I've learned about it, because it's so important. I think it's just so damn important to, especially because there's no stuff out there for artists with this kind of thing. It's my belief that many artists are having a hard time because there is no audit, there's no commitment. There's only like 1% of artists that are creating some sort of success, and I believe that there is no personal responsibility, because we don't know. Again, you get paid what you know, right? Because we don't know. This kind of stuff just kind of many times flies through our, over our heads. Like the fact that you have more than enough time, it's something that most people don't believe. The fact that you have more than enough energy is something that people don't believe. As a matter of fact, I'm going to tell you a little secret. It is a secret because I didn't believe it, and many people don't believe it. The busier you are, the more you can do. I know it sounds like duh. No, just think about this for a second. The more you do, the more you can do. The faster, the more fresh you become, the more alive you become, the more resourceful, the more creative, the more active you remain, the more solution-oriented you become. See, a lot of people don't know this. A lot of people think they know this by theory, but they don't know it experientially. They forgot about it. Because when you were a kid, when you were a child, you knew this. And probably mommy, daddy, and society spanked it out of you, But when you're a kid, you know this. You were born with it. It's part of your instinct. Part of the human instinct is to be busy, because we're tool makers. We're solution-based beings, right? We're looking for solutions. That's why we fish. That's why we hunt. That's why we create tools. We invent things. We are solution-oriented beings. This is the crown in the animal kingdom, is that we are hands-on, right? Literally. No pun intended. We're hands-on, no? We do things. We're crafters. We put ideas to work, and on and on and on, right? This is the thing that separates the artists that are creating success for themselves and artists that are not. And I know this. I've seen this over and over. I've seen it in different art industries, with painters, right? Sculptors, photographers. I've seen it over and over. Who's winning in this space? And I pay attention. One of my hobbies is to see who's winning. And when I mean winning, of course, you could be winning spiritually. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about pragmatic, physically, right? You create artwork, you sell it. You go and you get a studio and you sell some more, and then you go and you create a brand, and things start working for you physically, pragmatically, right? That's what I'm talking about. You could be a rich artist and be miserable, and you could be a broke artist and be miserable. I'm not talking about your personal happiness. That's a whole other conversation. I'm talking about physically, pragmatic, outside. So one of my hobbies is to look at who's winning, right? Who's winning in this space? One of the very first things that I do is that, and I was trained to do this. I didn't naturally act like this. This is a behavior that I started implementing learned from a mentor. Every time I go somewhere, I like to pay attention to who's winning, because they've already carved out the space. Doesn't mean that you go and copy them. It means that you understand the amount. The thing is not copy, because most people get it wrong. They're like, okay, well, I'll just do what that person does. No, that's not how it works. That is not how it works at all, because you don't know all the workings, right? And you're just maybe ramming yourself against the wall. If you're like, oh, okay, well, I see Jose selling artwork. All I'm gonna do is go and I see him do Instagram lives 2, 3, 4 times a day. All I gotta do is Instagram lives 2, 3, 4 times a day, and I got it. I'm gonna go sell artwork, and that'll probably get you. I don't know. That'll probably get you some exposure, or who knows, some sales. But that is not the complete picture, right? That's what I'm talking about. That's not the complete picture. There's many other levers that are working in order to get the sales out of the artwork. You're only getting part of the picture. So one of the things that I do is I like to go see, not to try to be like, oh, okay, oh my God, all I have to do is this. No. For skill set, totally, I understand. Like, someone wants to learn how to paint, you go see someone, you see the way they paint, if they teach you, you learn how to paint. That's different. That's skill. But skill and work ethic are two different things. You could be the best artist in the world and have a shitty work ethic and never get anywhere. Or you could be a bad artist, quote unquote, and have a tremendous work ethic and become world famous. You know, work ethic is the ultimately the deciding factor of your success. It will always be your work ethic. It will not be your artwork. This is where people get confused. They're like, "Oh, okay, well, I gotta go see this artist. What he does so that I do it." And I coach artists, and one of the things that I like to do is tell them, remind them of this. Look, don't pay attention only to what they're doing. Okay. That's important. It's important to see what they're doing. Okay, are they selling artwork here? Are they doing that there? That's important. But I want you to pay much more attention, not to how they do it, not to what they're doing. That's important, but it's not nearly as important as to how much of it are they doing. Okay, I'm giving you guys here, for those of you who are artists trying to monetize your work and sell your artwork, a huge piece of advice here. Don't just look at what they're doing or how they're doing it. Look at how much of it are they doing. How much of it. That will give you a much more clear picture of their success, as opposed to Well, an artist is, I see this artist, I'm going to give you an example, okay, for reference. A reference point here. Some artists look at what I'm doing, that they see that I'm putting Facebook posts, right? I post stuff on Facebook. And they're like, oh my God, I got to go put stuff on Facebook like Jose. They do it and then they call me, or they, DM me or whatever, and they're like, I've been putting stuff on Facebook and, nothing's working. I'm like, well, have you done this? Have you done that? Well, no, I was missing the link. One of the very first things that they're doing is they miss the entire picture, right? Because I put different stuff out. I put stuff out for different reasons, not just a picture of my artwork, but I put stuff to engage, some stuff to send them to a link, to give them more information. And a lot of stuff is just to engage, because Facebook is, social media, a lot of it is just engagement. I want people to engage. I want to have a conversation with people by bringing them value first, right? Some people just want to put their artwork all the time. Buy my artwork. Some people pull that off, by the way. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I've seen some people just pull that off because they use the whole I'm going to teach you how to paint kind of thing, and that seems to work a lot with some artists. But they're consistent, about it. My approach is not that only. My approach is see, the bottom line, either way, is that you bring value to them first. Because even the people that are just showing their own artwork, they're bringing value to people, and that's why it works. They're teaching people how to paint, how to wash the brushes, how to on and on and on. They're teaching people valuable stuff that other people want to learn, and that's why it starts picking up for them as well. But one of the things that I tell them, of course, is what I just told you right now. What I tell artists is, look, don't just look at, do I put stuff on Facebook or not? Look at how much I put on Facebook. Look at how diversified my message is, and how much of it there is. How deep it goes. Most people, most artists don't want to. They're not willing to do it because I don't even know if I get paid from it or not. I have no idea. I have no idea what the return on my investment is, the ROI, right? I have no idea. If I put some stuff on Facebook, I have 30 artists tell me, oh, Facebook's algorithm doesn't really show it to everybody. You're wasting your time. I don't know. I'd rather do something wrong than not do something to wait to do the right thing. By the way, it's not wrong. I don't think it is. But I'd rather do something wrong, like something that I'm like, oh, well, I don't know if I'm doing this right, than waiting for the right thing to do. So, just to give you context again, some artists are like, I'm going to go put something on Facebook, like Jose. They told me, like, what can I do? And I'm like, well, do this, put some stuff on Facebook. All right, they go put stuff on Facebook, and then they come back to me and they're like, did I put stuff on Facebook? It didn't work. I'm like, well, okay, what you put? I put my artwork. Okay, cool. What you put again? Well, another picture of my artwork. Oh, is that all you've been doing? Yeah, just artwork, my own artwork. I'm like, dude, it doesn't matter how great you paint. Most people don't care about you. Most people care about themselves. Why are you just putting pictures of your artwork? Engage with them. Go talk to them. Tell them. I don't know. Talk to them. They're artists too. Go. Engage in a conversation with them. Tell them that their artwork is awesome. If you genuinely believe that, if you don't, just keep it to yourself. But find something that you find that they're doing great. Compliment them on it. Talk to them. Have a conversation with them. It's not easy. It's simple, but it's not easy. They're like, okay, cool. They go and they do it, and they're like, okay, well, I put a picture, I got a little conversation going on, but nothing really happened. By the way, these are people that are DMing me, okay? This is not a coaching session. The coaching session, I lay down everything the first coaching session. That way they're not coming back to me and asking questions over and over. If I'm talking to you about Facebook, I'm going to tell you everything about Facebook as much as I can in 30 minutes or an hour, whatever the coaching session is. But these are people that are DMing me or sending me messages on YouTube or emailing me questions or whatever. But it's this thing, right? That they're like, I did it. And then the question is, okay, you did it. You put some artwork out there on Facebook or whatever, Pinterest. Cool. You engage with them. Okay, cool. Now the question is, how much of it did you do? Well, I talked to an artist here, now the question is, how much of it did you do? Because that's really what matters. Like, if you go and you talk to one person on Instagram and you engage in a conversation, that's awesome, but it's not going to be anywhere nearly as awesome as if you talk to 100 different people in one day. Oh my God, well, will I ever find the time to do that? That is the work. That is the trick. The trick is to remove that idea that you don't have time and actually doing it. That is the thing, right? That's the secret formula. And the secret formula is that you do have time, but we like to say we don't have time because it feels like something we don't want to do. I mean, who the fuck wants to do that? I don't want to do that. I'm always doing stuff I don't want to. Like, oh man, I got to do this. All right, well, I got to do it. But like, who wants to sit there on Instagram and engage with 30 different people? In 10 minutes. Like, hey, how's it going? What's up, dude? Blah, 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 blah. Who wants to do that? Nobody wants to do that. No one in the right mind wants to do that unless you got nothing else going on in life. And even if you got nothing else going on, you still don't want to do that. You'd rather go do something that you actually want to do. Watch Netflix or work on something else. Make a painting. I don't know. You want to do something else other than putting that type of work in there. I don't blame you. I don't blame you at all. It's the way it is, right? We do stuff that we feel like it. We don't do stuff that we don't feel like. The problem is that if you want some sort of success, you have to do stuff you don't feel like doing. And you have to remove the idea that you can't, that you don't know what to say, that you don't have time. You have to, because those are all lies, right? They feel true. They feel true. They feel very true. That's why I empathize, because they feel true. I go through the same shit every time I have to go to the gym. Right? I have a gym in my apartments, right, where I live. The apartments where I live, there's a gym right there, open 24/7. And I'm like, oh my God, do I have time for this? I don't think I have time for this. I'd rather go market, or I'd rather go work on my artwork, or I find excuses to not go because it's uncomfortable. But if I want to be, healthier, I have to go to the gym. I have to go do that. Otherwise, I'm going to have a hard time. I need the energy, right? Because the work that I do is very physical. Like, creating artwork is very physical, especially when you're doing it for a living and you're doing running a studio. You have different stuff happening. You're packaging work. You're doing different types of work, large work. I'm stretching canvases and on and on. And it's very physical. It requires my body, and my body needs to be. I need to be healthy, and I need to be strong in order to show up, right? In order to show up to that. So I'm going to leave you guys with this. Look, find it in yourself to audit. Make some time to audit yourself. Audit your time, audit yourself, and look into how is it that you can start moving the ball forward. How can you start moving the ball forward? What I mean by that is make an audit of yourself. Like see your behavior patterns. What are my behavior patterns? You can start out by simply writing down what you do. At the end of the day, it's a little harder at the end of the day because we tend to forget even what we had for breakfast. But it's a good thing. It's a good practice to carry a little notebook, something you can put in your pocket or your purse or whatever, right? A little notebook, and write down what you accomplished throughout the day. And then you will see, right? Oh, okay, well, I did this, I did that, I did this. And once you see the accomplishments, next to the accomplishment, write down how much time did that accomplish really needed. That'll give you a perspective of the things that you're spending time on that are not fruitful, right? It'll give you perspective, like, okay, well, I went to pick up my kid from school. Okay, how long did that take? Or how long was that supposed to take? I went shopping. I went grocery shopping. Okay, well, how long did that supposed to take? Did it really supposed to take 2 hours, 3 hours? Or was it more something like 40 minutes? Or, I don't know. And you start noticing your behavior patterns, right? You're like, oh, okay, oh shit, I do have time, or you know what, I really don't have time because I work 2 jobs, and and then you start realizing also part of the thing. What is part of the thing? Like, where are you spending the amount of time that you have? For example, I used to work 2 jobs, right? I used to work 2 jobs, but not both jobs required all of the hours, right? One of the jobs required, a few hours here, a few hours there. But still, it was a second job. A lot of people, especially here, a lot of Americans have 2 jobs. I used to do that before I became a full-time artist. But I used to drink every weekend, and that would take, a whole night drinking, and then the next day I had a hangover, and the whole day was ruined, because I was useless the next day. I don't care what everybody says. If you drink, the next day is useless. You're not fully yourself. Your body's dehydrated, and you're recuperating yourself. So anything you do is just shitty, right? Because you're useless. And I don't mean this to offend anyone. I'm talking about my experience. But I've noticed that, oh man, I'm so busy. But every chance I had, I wanted to go hang out with some buddies at the bar, or talk about bullshit, or spend time where I wasn't supposed to spend time. And yet, I never had time, right? I never had time. I always was like, man, I don't have time to work. Man, I don't have time for this. I don't have time for my family. Or I don't have time to, on and on and on. And I start realizing, oh shit, I either something's really wrong here, or it's true that I don't have time. And once I started digging into it, I realized, oh man, no, I do have time. What I have a surplus amount of is excuses. I have a surplus amount of excuses that don't let me move forward. As a matter of fact, I have so many excuses that every time I'm going to paint, I have to fucking find it in me to be inspired, to feel right, to feel like I have something good to paint, to have the right amount of art materials set. There's a long list of excuses. And once they're all dialed in and met, then I'll create artwork. But if they're not, I won't touch. I won't go into the studio. These are the type of excuses I used to have, Or I want to go exhibit my artwork, but oh my God, no, I don't have frames for my paintings, or nobody knows me, or I don't have enough paintings, and if you don't have enough paintings, that's a challenge, right? But the challenge after that is I can't get myself to painting them because they gotta be right, and I have to wait another 6 months in order for me to start painting, or I have to be inspired, and it's on and on and on. Ay, Dios mío, it's like, what do you do? What do you do? It's a horrible place to be at. But it's the human condition coming up with excuses, because you are deliberately holding yourself back from your own greatness. And I believe that. I believe everybody has something great to give to the world, but we hold ourselves back. I don't know why. I have no idea why we do that. But again, when I started realizing Not why, but when I started realizing about the excuses, right? Not why I had excuses. That's a whole other chapter. But that I had a lot of them. I had shitloads of excuses. When I started realizing that, I was like, oh. I didn't think I wonder why I have so many excuses. The very first question is, I wonder why I can't seem to hit any of my goals or get to where I want to, anywhere near or close. That was the first question. And the second question was, could there be a possibility that all I have is excuses? Because nobody wants to agree to that. We all think we're all great and shit, And we are, but we don't behave in that way. That's the problem, right? It's like we're all sitting in a gold mine, but none of us behave accordingly. And once I started realizing that, things started changing for me, and they still are. Every day I have to remind myself. Remember, dude, that if you allow yourself, you will come out with as many excuses as possible. Chew some gum. If you allow yourself, you'll come up with reasons with why you can't paint, you can't sell, you can't show. And I know this video started out by, what you don't know is the thing that hurts you. And it's not really the stuff that you do that gets you to your goals. It's the shit that you don't do to yourself that gets you closer and faster to your goals. It's all the arguments you don't get into. It's all the vices you're not into. It's all the negativity you don't allow. A lot of people are like, man, you gotta be positive. I'm like, I don't know. I don't think I'm a very positive person. But one thing I've learned is I don't allow negativity. When I'm dead set on something, I don't allow an inch of negativity to be around me. Now, I may be like kicking and screaming, but I'm doing it purposefully, Like, I don't allow, I don't have time, it's impossible, blah, blah, blah. It's too difficult, I don't have the right information. I already played that game, and that game got me shit. It got me zero, nothing. And once I started playing the game of, you know what? I'm not gonna allow excuses. What if all I do is produce excuses? And I'm not being fair to myself, and I'm not being true to myself. What if all I do is just produce excuses? And you know what I found out? That it was true. I was a fucking excuse-making machine. I found that out. And once I looked at that, I started recognizing patterns of behavior. And then that's when I could change them. Rather than, oh my God, I don't have time. No, hell yeah, you do. No, I stopped telling myself negative stuff too. Because I used to tell myself negative stuff. I used to tell myself like if I woke up late, oh, such an idiot, I should not waking up late. I used to play that game. That's still an excuse because now I'm making myself a victim. Rather than doing that, if I wake up late or if I go to sleep, I don't know, without finishing a task or for whatever reason, first of all, I don't allow that to happen. But for any reason, if that happens, I don't even look at it. It's not even an event. I keep moving to what I have to do. I don't even look at it anymore. If I messed up somewhere, I'm like, oh, okay, well, that happened there, whatever. Now I'm here. Let's to the next thing. And that has really changed my outcome and my perspective in life. As opposed to, oh, man, I'm such an idiot. I didn't do things right, or I know this stuff, but I don't do it, and that kind of stuff. Like, you got to move away from that stuff too, because that stuff is a very victim mentality. It's a very victim. You victimize yourself. You gotta start moving away from that kind of stuff too. But it's not easy, you know. It took me years to move out of that. I should have, you know, shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? But it took me years to move away from that. And the place where I'm at right now, it's like, okay, well, I know this is important. I got to do this. Okay, go do it. Is it important? Yeah. Is it necessary? Yes. One of my rules right now is, as soon as I think about something, I jump to it. I don't let it sit there and get cold. I know what happens when something goes cold. You throw it away. You know, you forget about it. As soon as you think about something, it's burning hot. It is the most powerful thing you can do when you think about something. You think about something and you act upon it right away. It's godliness. It's action. It's right action. It's godliness. It comes with God's power. If you think about something and you're like, well, you know, I got to sit there, I got to think about it. Let me put it in the back burner. It's gone. It's better to act upon it and it not being the right thing. You fucked up, you messed up, whatever, it didn't work. You throw it away. But it's better to act upon it. Because what you get out of it, it's a learning experience. See, nothing beats experience. What you get out of it is experience. Theory against experience is amateur. Theory will always be amateur against experience. Experience is wise. Theory is intelligent, but experience is wisdom. It's like you could be an 18-year-old intellectual, you know? And you could know everything about anything, and you have all this, you could be an 18-year-old doctor, right? Super intellectual, super intelligent person. But compared to someone who may not be anywhere near as intelligent as you are, that's in their 60s, 70s, in their maybe 70-year-old person who's had enough experience in the world, not just lived long enough, but also have enough experience in the world, the wisdom is disproportionate. It's completely different. You know, intelligent compared to wisdom is completely different. An 80-year-old, 70-year-old person has so much more wisdom, depending on their life experiences, of course, compared to a 20-year-old, intellectual, 30-year-old intellectual. The wisdom is so much more. That's the comparison I can make between, you know, theoretical knowledge compared to wisdom. Experiential knowledge, which is wisdom, right? It's experiential. It's shit you know. You're like, no, I did that already. I know what it feels like. I was there. I did it enough to know that if I do it again, first of all, I can't get myself to do it again, but if I do it, I'll bomb it. That's how much I know of it, right? Anyways, guys, I'll leave you with that. My name is Jose Trujillo, world's greatest living artist. Just wanted to bring a little bit of value to your day. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you guys soon again, all right? Take care. Bye-bye.